Hi, my name is Josh Gottry. Welcome to today's weekly lesson. Today we're going to take a look at the snare drum traditional grip. As inherently obvious with the name of the grip, it is something that has been used historically and is a significant part of the drummer's heritage. We're going to look a little bit at the technical aspect of the grip, but most importantly, most significantly, we're going to look at why and some of the transfer value of working with that type of grip. So first of all, the why. Traditional grip was something that was developed for use with drums that were slung on a strap and hung at the drummer's waist, and inherently they were hooked or clasped to that strap at a single point on the drum, which made the drum tilt. And as you can imagine, playing a drum as you march here and there that is on a tilt, if played with a traditional matched grip position, would create all sorts of discomfort up here in this shoulder area. So the traditional grip was something that was adapted quite simply to accommodate a drum position. So with the drum on a slant, tilting from the player's left down to the player's right, the left hand was placed in a position of awkwardness if played with match grip. So that's what was adjusted. So the right hand grip for traditional grip is exactly the same as matched grip. Nothing will change. It's the left hand that changes to accommodate that slant. So the basics of the grip, very, very briefly. Okay, the left stick rests just in that cradle between the thumb and the index finger. The third finger wraps around and braces itself under the stick, right between the tip and the first knuckle. The first index finger and middle finger lay gently on top. The thumb resting on top of the index finger with a slight curve to it, almost like a little ski jump type position, but very, very relaxed, just placing itself on the stick there. And then between the first finger, the index finger and the thumb, we control that fulcrum or pivot point, okay? And then the middle finger and then the ring and pinky supporting the ring finger then support the end of that stick. Okay, so there's very basics of the grip itself, but that allows the shoulder position to be balanced on both sides of the body, despite the fact that the drum surface, the playing surface, is at an angle. The playing motion for traditional grip, again, for the right hand is exactly the same as matched grip, just a bend of the wrist up and down, same way it would be as if the drum was flat. The rotation, the motion for the left hand is a rotation motion. As the stick comes up, the hand rotates up. Okay, it rotates out. If you want to look at it in the inside of your hand, you should have a little well or divot that you could pour water in, and as you play the stroke and rotate back down, that should pour out as the thumb comes back to the top, almost as if you could balance another stick on top of that position. So again, rotation up and then rotation back down, right hand being exactly the same as matched grip, bend the wrist up, bend the wrist back down. So there's the basics of how that approaches. And as you can imagine, that's very, very comfortable on a tilted or sloped drum. It becomes a little bit more challenging on a flat drum for the same reason that traditional grip was adopted for the tilted drum. As soon as you put it on a flat drum, it becomes very, very important to keep that elbow down in the left hand, which is a little bit more of a challenge to keep that position fully rotated in for the down position and then rotated out or up for the up position. So the traditional grip is actually significantly easier to play for a slanted or sloped drum than for a flat drum. So you'll find even in orchestral settings or things like that where somebody uses traditional grip, they typically will play with a slightly sloped or slanted drum. Now that brings up the question as to why are professionals, even in a concert setting, using traditional grip as opposed to a matched grip? Well, there's a couple reasons. Number one, a number of years ago, let's say even as late as the late 70s or early 80s, those who played with traditional grip were considered, or those who learned traditional grip were those who were considered schooled or trained drummers, those who were studying with somebody, those who were learning the proper way. Those who were playing match grip were considered to be unschooled or untrained, because this would be what you would do if you didn't think about it, but if you really studied and really learned the heritage and really learned how drumming was supposed to be done, of course you'd learn traditional grip. So a lot of professionals that are still playing today, even in orchestral or concert settings, are playing with traditional grip, not necessarily because it's a better or more applicable grip in that particular situation, but because that's how their entire process of studying and learning began. And even for my own initial training, when I started sixth grade band, the first grip I learned was traditional grip, and I used that for the entirety of my first year of private study and school study as well. So I don't know how much that dates me, but anyway, so that was still part of the process even when I was starting my training in percussion. Was traditional grip is the way that schooled or trained drummers learn how to play percussion. So the other thing I want to talk about today very briefly is just the transfer value. So this motion, this rotation motion, does not just have its use in traditional grip. It has a number of other applications to which that is beneficial. So if you do learn traditional grip because you want to play on a drumline, snare drumline that uses traditional grip, or the drummer you idolize plays traditional grip, and you're studying the technique and approach of that drummer, and it's easiest to also mimic the grip that particular drummer uses. That's great, all valid reasons. Here's some transfer value for that process. Number one, of course, one of the benefits of traditional grip is when playing drum set, if you need to play a cross stick, the stick is already in position just to flip over and do that. You've got the butt of the stick being used for that cross stick position. And so that's a benefit, I guess not a transfer value, but a benefit of traditional grip in a drum set setting. If you're going to use a cross stick, you're already ready in position to flip that over and play. Some specific transfer values. When playing 4-mallet keyboards, that rotation is used a lot for inside mallet, single independent strokes, and single alternating strokes or double lateral strokes where there's a rotation involved. So for 4-mallet, marimba, vibraphone, any keyboard percussion, with actually any of the grips, 4-mallet traditional grip, Burton grip, or independent Stevens grip, they all use that arm rotation to perform some of the strokes involved. One of the lessons I did several weeks ago was on tambourine. Well, a shake roll is that same arm rotation motion involved. And so as you work on your shake roll for tambourine, you're also working on your arm rotation for traditional grip as well. So a number of situations, we've heard the saying said before. One of my good friends, Paul Beyer, even wrote an article for Percussive Notes. Percussion is plural. Nothing we do is a single instrument or a single technique or a single approach. And so it's very important that we look for opportunities to transfer the ideas of what we're doing in one setting to another. So one of the values of learning traditional grip and studying traditional grip is not just for the performance on snare drum in a rudimental context, but also for tambourine, for keyboard percussion, for mallet grips, things like that too. So certainly, if you're interested in studying traditional grip, get with a teacher to make sure you get all the details right as far as your hand position. Really work that rotation stroke and being comfortable with that, making sure that you get a full extension up to create that cavity, and then full extension down, dump that water out. Always stay relaxed, as with any stroke or technique. Staying relaxed is of critical importance, but then also look for how that stroke also transfers to other instrumental areas within percussion. Best of luck. Have a great week.